Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today what you're looking at is a new stitch pattern. It is called the pocket stitch, and it kind of speaks for itself. And what I did is I just did a repeat of the beginning part of it here. This is the actual stitch pattern, and I repeated a couple rows of it so you could see the actual effect of it. So if I turn it up a little ways here, you can actually see the little pockets. So how cool is that, huh? So I will explain how, or I will actually show you how to get those little babies to stick out of there in your work as we go through this. And it gets a little bit tricky here in between these little parts, but not too bad. So let's get started on that. I'm going to put that to the side. And what I did is I grabbed a kind of a pale yellow. Okay. And what you want to do, and I went ahead and worked this up because there's no need for you to watch me do a basic chain. Okay, and let's reposition here a little bit so you can see. So what you want to do for this stitch is you want to work in multiples of 4. So what I did is I chained 16, and then I also ended up with an additional 2. So you want to have a total of 18 stitches for your foundation row. Alright. So once you get that done, which I have, you can stop the video at any time, then you're just going to basically do a single crochet all the way across to the end. So once you do that, and by the way, you will start in the second chain from your hook. Once you do that, you will turn, okay? So we are at that point. So once you turn, row 1 has you to chain up 3, okay? You'll chain up 3, and that's going to count as your first double crochet. So you're going to skip that first stitch now, which is the one that you're in, and then you're just going to complete a double crochet row. Okay, so this is very simple. You're going to go all the way across for a row of double crochet. So, you know, basically with this stitch, you're going to have a couple double crochet rows throughout this pattern. And then you're just going to be working your pocket stitch row. It's a very, it's a complex little stitch, but once you get doing that row, then you just go back to double crochet. So you only have, you know, that row, and then, you know, the row right behind it, which is also a double crochet row, but it's a little bit more complex in where you're putting those double crochets. So, you know, once you figure out where you're putting them, it becomes a little bit more easier. So make sure you get that last double crochet there. And if I'm double crocheting way too fast for some of you, you know how to hit that stop button. Okay, so row 2, you're going to turn that, and you're going to chain up 3 again. Okay. And you're just going to do that same thing. So you're going to skip that first double crochet and make your second double crochet row, okay? So I'm just going to go back across here with the double crochet, and I'll meet you up at the end of this row. Okay, now we are ready to work row 3. So row 3 is going to be a little bit more technical. So what you're going to do is turn your work and chain up 1. So now what you're going to do is you're going to skip that first double crochet, which is where we're at. You're going to go into this next one and do a slip stitch. Okay, now you're going to work around this post of the double crochet you're in. Alright, let me zoom in for you so you can see just a hair better. So what we're going to do is work around this post. You're going to put a combination of a single crochet. Alright, and we're going to work all these stitches around the same post. So now you're going to put a half double crochet around the same post, and don't do them super tight because you're going to get yourself in a little panic. And then you're going to do 3 double crochet right around that same post. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Okay, now you're going to skip the next 2 double crochet, and then the third one you're going to do a slip stitch, and then the next one you're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, So what you just did is you made your first pocket. Now you're kind of going to think this is like the crocodile stitch in a sense, and it's going to be kind of resembling half of a crocodile stitch. And you're thinking, okay, where's the pocket? Now that's not going to come into play fully until we move up to our next row. So let's keep going. So now in that second double crochet, top of that double crochet that you worked, where you put that second slip stitch in, you're going to work around that post now. So you're going to go around that post and do a single crochet. Then you're going to do a half double crochet. Oops, pull through there. Now you're going to work your 3 double crochet, just like we did before. So there's 1. There's 2. And 3. And all those little beep sounds you may hear is my cell phone. That means you guys are texting me on Facebook. Okay, so then you're going to skip these next 2 half double crochet, and you're going to go into the top of the next 2 with a slip stitch. 1 and 2. Alright, so then that second one that you did, you're going to go around the post and do the single crochet, the half double crochet, and then now you're going to do your 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so you want to skip the next 2, do a slip stitch in the next, and a slip stitch in the next. Okay, so now we're ready to do our single crochet around that last one, half double crochet, oops, and our 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now we're at the end. You're going to notice you have 3, so you're going to skip those 2, and then you're just going to do a simple slip stitch into that turning chain. So now I'm going to back up and let you see what we have. Alright, so right now you have these funny little shells, what I would call them at the moment. These are going to be your pockets. Okay, so now we're just going to move right into row 4. So row 4, you're going to turn your work, and now what we're going to be doing here is, this is a little bit of a tricky part. We are going to chain up 3 first of all. So 1, 2, and 3. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be working in these back spaces right through here where we skipped our original double crochet and where we did our slip stitches. So you're going to have to look pretty hard for those, and I will do my best to point those out to you. So we're going to skip the first stitch, which is right here where we're at, and now you're going to have to look real close. Right here is going to be the first double crochet that was skipped. So you're going to do your double crochet in the 2 that were skipped to start with, which are these 2. You can pretty much see those. So you want to go into the tops of those. So right here and right here, and this one's pretty stretched out so you can see that. So you put a double crochet right here. So there's 1. And then you see this post right here, so you want to go right over the top of that. So that's going to be 2. Okay, see where I went? Now, our slip stitches came in between here. So you see these 2 holes right here? They're there, trust me. One of them is kind of over this post here, and one of them is just, it's kind of right here at the end of this, I'm calling it petal right now, but it's actually your pocket. So you're going to jump over and double crochet right into there. So there's one there. See where I went? Right there. And then you're going to go right into the one right beside there. So there's going to be two. Okay, you see how I went in there? To both of those. Just kind of hard to describe. You just got to see what you're looking for. Actually, you have to know where you did your slip stitches. They were two side by side. Okay? And now you're going to jump back down to those two double crochet. You can kind of see where those posts are right there, and then both of those loops. So you're going to go into those, do a double crochet into the tops of each of those. And I know it looks a little funny, but trust me, it's going to work itself out. Just don't do them real tight. Okay, so you should have two there. Now you're going to jump over here and do the same thing here, like we just did before. Trust me, they're there. They don't look right, but they're there. So that was a slip stitch there, so do your double crochet in both of those. Okay, you see where I've got those? Just side by side. Now you're going to go right into the next two double crochet posts back there. So one and two. Alright, so let's find our next two slip stitches, which are here, just right in between your petals or your pockets. Okay, and now you're going to go to the next two posts, which are down here. So one and two. Alright, and now you're going to have one on the very end, one slip stitch here, not two, there's going to be just one on the very end here, because then you're going to finish off on the turning chain with your last double crochet. Okay? There. Now if we did that correctly and you have them all into place, you should end up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, which is correct. You're going to end up with 17 posts total, okay? And it's going to look a little funny because you will end up with 3 on this side and 2 on this side only because you have your chain 3 right here, okay? And then you'll have 4, 4, and 4 in the centers. Alright, so if you turn that around, what I'm going to do is come back a little bit. And now, you're going to take your pocket and just pull it out. That way you can get these all straightened up. Pull it out a little bit, because then these stitches will kind of scooch out to where they should be properly. Okay? And if you set it up, you see your little pockets. And everything kind of jiggles over to where it should originally be to start with. Okay? Now, for our last row, which is going to be our row, well, not our last row, but row 4. Let's go ahead and do row 4. You're going to chain up 3. Okay? Turn your work. You're going to do a double crochet. Actually, I'm sorry. I was right to start with. It's row, which ones did I do? 1, 2. Actually, we're going to do just finish off with double crochets all the way across. Just like this. Yeah, row 5. So this is where you start, you know, your double crochet row. And this is actually the end of the stitch pattern itself. And you went through the technical part. Like I said, it's a little tricky. But once you figure out exactly where those stitches go, then you know what you're looking for. You just got to know what you're looking for. That's a lot of the key to the difficult parts of crochet, is knowing what you're looking for. And it just helps sometimes to have that pointed out to you. Okay, so let's back you up here. So if you look at my original piece, all I did was I completed the stitch pattern 2 times for you. This is once. So you have your little pockets, and I did this much right here on this one, and I just duplicated it here. So that's pretty much all there is to that. You make it as long as you want and as wide as you want, and you just keep going with that pattern. You can change the colors every row, and make your pockets as beautiful as you want them. It's nothing more than that. You just repeat rows 2 and 5 throughout the entire pattern. And that's pretty much it. So if you need any further help with that, you just go back and rewind the video, and you just keep repeating rows 2 through 5 to get the pattern to keep repeating itself. So again, this is called the pocket stitch, and because it makes you little beautiful little pockets in your project. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and until next time guys, happy hooking, and see you next time.